Welcome back, folks, to day 2 of the Welsh Open Pairs Festival and a glorious sunny day. Now, if you watched last week's video, you'll know we didn't do too well on day 1, but this weather is a lot better than was forecast. It's forecast overcast and rainy showers all day. The wind's still here. It's not too bad on this side, but like I said last time, we are fishing way off over there. We've already drawn the pegs. We've drawn peg 15. So, like I said last week, there's a few things that I'm going to change for today compared to how we fished yesterday, and I'm going to run you very quickly through what those changes are. Competition fishing for me is a relatively new thing, and it's good to be around some of these well-seasoned anglers who are obviously a lot better than me, and picking up hints and tips as we go. So I'll show you what I'm going to do today. Alright, first things first, we've been keeping the worms in the cool box. I've just brought them down to the beach today, and I've just taken them out. I'm going to give them a good soak in some fresh salt water, just so they can get a bit of a breather, freshen up a little bit. I'm only going to give them a couple of minutes in each. So I've got 2 packs of ragworm, 2 packs of lug as well. So I've got the lug to go through, the ragworm to go through. I'll dry these off in a minute, wrap them up in some fresh newspaper, and hopefully they should see us through back in the cool box till this afternoon. Now, this is by no means the gentleman's way to catch mackerel. This is your classic tinsel chuckers mackerel bashing. This is like going pheasant shooting with a Tommy gun. But on there, I've just got a small set of Hawkeyes, size 4 maybe hooks, size 6 hooks, and a 6-ounce lead. And if you haven't guessed by now, the next change that I want to make is try and get some fresh fish baits. So whether these are going to be small bream, whether they're going to be small mackerel, I've heard that there are garfish about as well, but unlikely I'm going to get them on tinsels. So yeah, try and get some fresh fish bait. So like I say, proper tinsel chuckers, but we're not here for sport, we're here for competition. I don't know what the other option is, but and that'll be that over and done with then. What the fuck has just happened there? That is what happens when you get cheap tinsel chuckers rigs. Put your weight on the end. That's literally just snapped off. Does this end any better? Alright, need to fashion something else up. See if we can make something else up. Take 2 this time. I've tied my weight on. I've had to go for 3 ounce. And I've also, because I pulled on the other end, and that end was shocking as well, so I've got rid of that, and I've just tied in a little loop knot straight onto my main line. Alright. Take 2, let's go. See how quickly this one snaps off. So that line's not sounding brilliant either on there. Let's see if we can't find some mackerel, shall we? Nice steady retrieve. Anyway, you don't want to see mackerel bashing, do you? I'll bring you back. Yeah, trading the dogs for my dad, mainly because, well, Max was kicking off because he got no ball to play with. Jack was kicking off because, you know, new dad error. He kicked off as soon as he finished his bottle this morning, told me he was still hungry, so I made him another bottle, and he's polished half another bottle off. So now he's kicking off because he's got 2 full of tummy. You got tummy ache. Oh well, every day's a school day. I suppose it's only the same as when I go to a Chinese or an all-you-can-eat buffet or whatever. Doesn't feel like there's much weight on it. I'm not sure if that rig's snapped. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why tinsel chuckers get such a bad rep, because they whack cheap shit feathers on like that, snap off all the time, don't got a clue what they're doing, and basically are a menace to society. But it just goes to prove that I've done exactly the same this morning. So, no fresh fish. On to stage 3 of trying things differently. Well, a bit demoralising. I've just seen the results from yesterday. Total length winners for yesterday, 890 centimetres, nearly 9 metres of fish. Does it tell you how many that was? 35 fish. 35 fish, and that with the lads a couple of pegs down that I kept saying in last week's video, oh yeah, they're just constantly small fish. So they had 35 fish totaling 8.9 metres. The biggest one was a 36 centimetre flatty. The biggest fish of the day was a 39 centimetre bass. So yeah, some decent fish, all small though, so even that bass wouldn't have been a keeper. Some good results from over at Aberec. So peg 17 was the winner for Aberec yesterday. They had 5.8 metres worth of fish, and we're fishing peg 15, which had about a metre's worth of fish. So hopefully that's a good omen. Hopefully we're on a decent peg today. Like I say, the weather's changed, it's a lot sunnier, and I'm going to build some rigs next. Akos boys have sorted us out with some smaller gear, so I'm going to rig up some 3-hook and some 2-hook flappers with these size 6 Aberdeens and some little glow pop-up beads. There we go, first step onto the beach. The good news is we're going to walk down to there. We're about 8 pegs in, I think, all the way down there. Well, we've just got down to his peg. And I thought, right, first things first, I'll put some water in the bucket, stop it blowing off down the beach. Now, because I knew we were facing quite a walk today, I put my walking boots on rather than my wellies. Booty straight away. The time now is 20 past 12, so I've got, what, 6 hours now with soggy wet feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rigged up, and I might just strip off and just leave my feet out for a little bit. At least they get some fresh air, because they are going to stink later. Then the next job, because I always fall victim to this, slap on some sun cream and get some water down me. Because every time I go fishing I say, oh, I need to drink more water. I think yesterday while I was fishing for 5 hours, didn't have a sip of water, forgot all about it, and then I sit there at night thinking, oh, I feel a bit groggy, or I had that 1 pint, and I'm like, oh. So yeah, first things first is sun cream and water. Right, and like I mentioned before, I'm going to make some DIY rigs up now. Why be prepared when you can build these? We've literally got 5 minutes now till kick-off. So I've got swivel down to a 3-way swivel, because in my wisdom I decided to take my crimps out of the box. So I've got a 3-way swivel. As you'll see, I've just kept the shock leader passed through the swivel, looped it through the second swivel twice just to keep it in place. So I've still got the strength of the swivel in there, because I'm not sure what the braking strain is on these. And then on the end of there, or the Ionics glow bead, pop-up bead, and those little size 6 hooks, I think those are. I've got a 6-foot trace with about 2.5 foot length snoods on there, and I am literally going to be fishing tiny little bits of ragworm. There you have it then, baited up, tiny little hooks, little glow bead. I've just pushed the worm over the top of the knot, top of the hook, just to keep it in place. There we have it, ready to go. So we've literally got, what time are we on? There we go, rigged up and ready to go. Yeah, I think people are just starting to bait up now, or just walking the rods and stuff down. So we're going to walk the rods down, get cast out. Let me know in the comments, is this rig going to work? Is it going to tangle itself up, or are we going to catch fish? Alright, let's go. Everybody else is looking around waiting for the first person to cast. Let's see what happens with this rig. Is it going to fall over or not? Get that shock leader out and down that reel then. Just in there like that. Casting no further than that today. There we go, look, I'm off the mark. So much better start than yesterday. 25 minutes in, tiny little wrasse. Let's go and get him measured. And another one. They are getting smaller, but they all can. Right, well, we're ticking away slowly, so I've decided to break out the pulley dropper again, because we've got some lovely big lugworms still left over. So I'm going to lash a couple of big lugworm onto there, onto the pulley dropper, put that out, see, because surely in all that lot there's got to be some big bass out there. There's got to be some big bass out there somewhere, aren't there? But yeah, so far just tiny little wrasse. I think lad next door's had the biggest one I've seen so far, and also the smallest one, 12 centimetres, and he's had a 16 centimetre one. So yeah, we are just scratching really, but with the waves out there and the fact that the wrasse says that there is a bit of reef out there, so I'm going to put them big lugworm out, see if we can't find something a bit bigger. Well, bite detection is almost impossible today, and I mean, it's not very often you fish and you don't get weed on your hooks because it blows straight up the line, but that's what we're fishing with today. So like I say, mixing it up a little bit, using the little scratching rods with tiny hooks for the little wrasse, and then I'm just rigging up again another pulley dropper, whole squid bait. I'm putting them at distance. Yeah, just see what we go on with. Well, we could be on for smallest fish. What do you reckon? Bless him. It's 4:30, so we're fishing for 3.5 hours. Fishing for us has slackened off a little bit. Lad next door keeps coming up. I think he's up to, what have I just signed him up to? About 2.8 metres worth of fish. I think we're still on 50 something centimetres. In all honesty, we've just had an absolute shocker. So Dad's cast straight over the top of me. I've hooked into a little fish, reeled in, then Dad's reeled and tightened his line down, and it's just snapped it all off. Fishing with mono, as you'll know if you watch the channel. I normally only fish a braid, so it's been a while since I've done an Albright knot. Dad's brought Yuki line and an Asso shock leader, and anytime I try and tighten these Albright knots down and cinch them down onto each other, it just snaps off. So we've probably been out of the water, both rods out of the water for about half an hour now. I'm back in, Dad's just sorting the rig out. We're not on speaking terms at the minute, so I'll leave him to it, see what he does. So I've actually gone back to an FG knot, which is not recommended on mono as far as I'm concerned, because the FG knot relies on the braid cutting down, digging down into the shock leader. Mono's obviously got a silicone finish to it, slippery finish, so yeah, it's not ideal, but it's held up now for a couple of retrieves. But I'm sure if I get snagged up, it's going to come straight off. It's just been one of them last half hours. So bait's back in the water now, my bait's back in the water. I've gone for a pennel rig this time. I think the only way to save this day really is get a couple of doggies on the table. So I've got a pennel rig out with a mackerel flapper on. I'm going to keep up with the little 3-hook flapper rig that I modified earlier. Keep on with that, just targeting the little stuff. But yeah, we need a couple of big fish to save the day really. I thought I was on for smallest fish. I got a well, what looked like a really small goby, but I actually went 10 centimetres. I think the smallest one yesterday was 8 centimetres. So and my line is getting absolutely smashed with weed, so I'm going to bring that in. In fact, to tell you what, you can witness me bring it in and probably watch me snap off, and then watch me lose my rag again. Come on. All this fucking weed, look. All the time, all the time. It's not been too bad up to this point. Now it just seems to be coming on thick and fast. Just leave them bits. Just leave them. Just leave them bits. Getting all this other shit around my line. There's my FG knot. And there's more weed. Right. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out I'm not on the beach anymore. In fact, I'm not even in Wales anymore, I'm back in Derbyshire. Any footage from this point on got that many expletives in it, it's not even worth me trying to bleep it out. It got a whole lot worse. I think we snapped off something like 7 times, 8 times. Now, we did have a spare spool each, but like I said before, that Yuki Mono that we bought from Veals, it just would not take a knot. In fact, at one point, the rods were in the stand, and got a little bit of weed coming up the line, and the wind was enough to snap it off. We later found the line on the beach. We managed to hand line it in, and it had snapped about 6 foot away from the shot leader knot, which at least tells me that the knots are good when you get them to take. Well, I've just had a message off my dad while we've been out on his walk. He's put a complaint into Veals, and credit to him, they've offered to replace that Yuki line. But having said that, this is not the first time that I've had issues with well-known brands that I've bought through Veals. Some of you might remember the Tronics Pro fast release swivels that I've got. I had bought a box of them, and they were opening up just on a cast. Yeah, let me know in the comments, have I just been unlucky and got a couple of bad batches? Have you suffered similar issues? Like I say, credit to Veals, they've offered to replace the line, but I'd be interested to know. But yeah, it was terrible. The weed was really bad. The rod stand went over 2 or 3 times, which instantly boils my blood. The line snapping constantly, which is probably karma for me taking the mick out of the lads who said that they bought 7 or 8 reels. Yeah, it was a disaster. Having said that though, it was an honour to fish alongside probably some of the best anglers in the country. A lot of the anglers there represent the country, whether that's England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. A lot of them were battling out for pen points as well in the pen leagues. So yeah, some really good anglers. Everybody there offered some help, some advice, so highly recommend. If you're new to angling or you just want to pick up some new tips, tricks, get yourself down, enter a competition, or just go down and watch, see what other people are doing. The Welsh Open Pairs Festival itself, really well run. Credit to Dave Cave for organising that. Really little good reward ceremony at the end. I don't tend to video stuff like that, just because people don't like cameras stuffing in the face. Some people don't want to see the face all over YouTube, so it's fair enough. I think there was prizes for smallest fish, which was 5 centimetres by the way. Largest fish, which Dave Cave won with I think it was a huss that won that. There was a couple of smooth hounds come out as well, would you believe it, in those seas. Top 3 overall. There was zone prizes as well for winners of the zones. Loads of cash prizes, loads of Akios prizes. Really good event, recommend. I'll put a link in the description below to the Facebook group for the competition. I'm already hearing of some changes to the formatting next year, possibly a change of hub. I think they're looking at getting a different campsite so everybody can pitch up together with cheaper beer, which is never a bad thing. Get on the Facebook group, keep an eye on what's coming up for next year. Sorry there wasn't much footage. Like I say, competition fishing's a bit new to me. The pace of it was just phenomenal. Like I said in last week's video, the winners of day 1 had 35 fish, which in 5 hours of fishing, what's that, 7 fish an hour, so 1 fish every 8 minutes. So you are literally casting, baiting up, retrieving, casting, baiting up, retrieving. It's non-stop. So yeah, a bit lacking in footage at times. Otherwise, hopefully this weekend coming, I'll be taking on Shane, aka the Holderness Codfather, so I'm looking forward to that. Having said that though, the weather, I don't know if you can hear it in the camera now, the winds are pretty bad. I think it's pretty big seas forecast, so if that's the case we'll probably postpone it to a later date. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I say, apologies there was little footage of actual fishing, but that's competition fishing for you. And until next time guys, take care of yourselves and tight lines.